Hey everyone, SoranotRoxas here, and it's snowing outside! Well, it was snowing for like a good 5 minutes, and now it's not snowing anymore. I have no idea what was up with that. I don't know if we're gonna get another snowstorm of what, or whatever. Alright, so this is a Is It Worth It review on the video game Undertale. And, okay, I'm gonna do the bit for you guys and everything where I talk about the game and I show some clips from the gameplay and stuff, but let me be perfectly clear with you guys. This game is something that needs to be played. This isn't... I know I don't say that a lot about indie games. Actually, this is the first time I kind of reviewed an indie game altogether. I normally stick to mostly AAA titles, but recently we haven't gotten all that amazing AAA titles as far as I'm concerned. 2015 was okay, and 2016 looks like it might be a little bit better with stuff like Uncharted 4, Far Cry Primal, and hopefully Kingdom Hearts, I think, comes out this year. That's all well and good, but there are some games that really need to be played by people, and indie games got a real big year last year, back in 2015, so this is one of them. This is one of them. Like I said, I'm going to do the whole bit for you guys and everything, but just be concerned that this is a game that if I say too much about it, is going to be a spoiler. It's going to ruin, it might ruin the game for you, which means that I'm going to keep the spoilers to a minimum, okay? And because the whole thing is a twist. I'm not going to say how, because if I do, like I said, that's giving everything away. If you want to know more, watch the Honest Trailers version of it. They do a really good job of somehow giving away spoilers and still have it be a review. Okay, so here we go. Alright, so this is It Worth It? Undertale. And you know what? Just right off the back, yeah. Yeah, it is. Like I said just a second ago, I haven't been too caught up in type of like a lot of AAA games. Of course, there's stuff there, here and there, like Assassin's Creed Syndicate and whatnot, that gave me some enjoyment for a while, but didn't really fill me up as much. Okay, so we did have Games of Thrones, which I reviewed, and we've also had Batman Arkham Knight, which I reviewed, and I love those games. It was really enjoyable, but like every so often there was a good AAA game that came out, and even then for the PC it turned out to be shit, because apparently AAA title developers don't give a shit about PC anymore. I don't really care as much, although I do care, because I think everyone should enjoy a game, especially if it's really good, and it shouldn't be graded down just because the port is bad. But if the port is bad, it needs to be called out for being bad. You know, Arkham Knight's not going to get a pass just because it was a great game on a console, but it was shitty on PC, and it had to get removed from Steam altogether. Same thing with Assassin's Creed Unity. You know, a lot of people didn't go back and play the game after that, and that's understandable. Even on consoles, it had its problems, but I got it late, so I just got it last year, and I've already beaten it now. I'm on Syndicate now, which is actually a lot more fun than that, but the game has crashed on me a couple of times. So, not really that big of a, you know, impact in 2015 as far as AAA titles. It might actually be a struggle for some people to get a top 10 best games list out for the last year. And you know what? That reminds me, I need to really do my top 10 best movies list. Well, anyway, I'll keep that for the end of the video. So, one game rises up from the ashes, and that is Undertale, created by Toby Fox. And this is a game that shows what happened when you have a dream and you have that ambition to pursue it to the end. And it's something that's so simple that can grow to be this big phenomenon with all the fan art and all the animations that have been made for it. It's just been crazy, man. The walkthroughs on YouTube, it's a fantastic thing to see when an indie game can get to this height. Excuse me. So what is Undertale? You're probably wondering, like, for all the 5 people that don't know, Undertale is an RPG that isn't an RPG. Yeah, the description on Steam is a little odd. and I could only assume that that's sort of Toby's way of being very comedic, and he seems like he's a comedic guy. I haven't met him personally, you know. I've been on his Twitter, and you know, I played the game. What are you gonna do? So the clips that I'm going to show in this video is actually not from my recorded gameplay. It's actually from another YouTuber called Novaphyer. You guys should really go check him out. Link will be in the description for his walkthrough. He did both pacifist and genocide runs in this game. If you don't know what pacifist and genocide run means, then either play the game, watch the walkthrough, and you know, and make up your mind about it that way. If I give anything else away after that, it's going to be a spoiler. That was already sort of a spoiler right there, but a lot of people won't understand what that means unless you officially play the game or you saw the game and you know exactly what I'm talking about. So Novaphyer was very kind enough. I asked him if I can use some of his gameplay, and he was very kind enough to let me borrow some of it. So you'll be seeing gameplay up here in the top of the screen, or this side most likely. Alright, so anyway, yeah, so the description on Steam is a little weird, but basically put, the basic premise of the story is that once upon a time there was a war between monsters and humans who used to live in harmony on the surface world, which is Earth. You know, on our world, you know, with the cities and castles and everything like that. I'm sure dragons and whatnot. So one day, war broke out between the monsters and the humans. We don't know why at the beginning of the game, but as you go on and you play more and more, you start getting an understanding of exactly how these monsters feel about what's been going on and what exactly did happen back then. You get the truth. And you can only get the truth a certain way. And I'm not going to say what it is that you have to do to get the truth, but I'll just say that they say it right in the beginning of the game, what you exactly have to do in order to get the truth. And it's a small hint there, which is so brilliant. So anyway, so war broke out between the two races. The humans proved to be, the humans proved to be a little bit stronger than the monsters, forcing them into this world called the Underground, which is basically a place under a mountain, well, underground, which is under the world of the surface dwellers, us humans. And what they did was they sealed the entrance, the one and only entrance into the underground, to block out the monsters from coming back up. So many eons pass. I'm assuming that many years, centuries passed, and so it's the year, not specific because the game isn't specific on the year. It takes place in the year 2000s. That's all you can pretty much gather from it. So possibly close to our year. So I'm sure cities and things have been built by this time, and it's more modern day. And as the tale of the monsters versus the humans pass into legend, a small child decides to venture forth to this mountain where it actually leads to the entrance of the underground. He falls, he somehow doesn't break his neck as he hits the ground face first, and that's where the game begins. Okay, there are some things that, a couple of things that might not make sense to you. Why did the boy go up to the fallen mountain? This is a place, second thing, this is a place where it is known that if people go up to the mountain, they do not return. He willingly goes up there. He or she willingly goes up there. Actually, the gender is ambiguous, so you can actually name this fallen child whatever you want, straight from the beginning of the game. Also, there's a little Easter egg that if you name try to name the fallen child after certain characters in the game, of course, you would understand that if you actually play the game the first time around, and you try to do it again, it actually, you actually get commentary from that character that you're trying to name your character after, which is a nice little touch, by the way, and it's actually multiple comments for that. There's also a way to unlock hard mode, which I do not recommend. I'm bad at this game on normal, so I don't recommend hard mode for anybody if you just want to enjoy the game. So yeah, so this is sort of like this sort of 8-bit graphics, Atari, Super Nintendo type graphics, and so everything's sort of displayed through text rather than audio. and it's mostly just that and just visual animations as far as the characters. When the text boxes come up there, the characters will change their faces. And that's really good. That's a way of getting out expressions even though you're reading it through text. And you can tell through how the way the text is presented whether a character is angry, whether he's scared, frustrated, and you get all these emotions out. And every different character in here is unique. From a talking skeleton who loves bad puns to a psychotic flower that wants to steal your soul. I'm not kidding, that's in there. And it's so bizarre. It's an odd game. It's sort of like how if you play games like Conker's Bad for a Day or something like that, you're kind of used to, or Duke Nukem maybe, you're kind of used to these sort of like oddities in video games before, so a lot of this wouldn't surprise you, but even then, it still comes off very unique, and it built this world in its own right, and it's loving this world, and there's some meta jokes in there. There are some breaking the fourth walls, but they're not annoying breaking the fourth walls. They're kind of like how Deadpool's breaking the fourth walls will possibly be. And you'll get it from mostly two characters in the game, 2 or 3 characters in the game. One of them who was literally making meta type humor, but isn't aware of it. And then you have 2 of them that are sort of aware of what's going on, and actually you do have one of them that's really aware of what's going on, and he knows that, you know, they're in a video game and how the player can control things, and it's so good. It's so well done. It's as if Toby was able to cover all his tracks in here. It's like, I swear, it's like the guy thought of absolutely everything. And he wasn't the only one who worked on this. This is the majority of his game, obviously, but he actually had some help from some other animators and programmers in order to get the game to what it is presented nowadays. Because I played the demo first, and then I decided to purchase the real game, of course watching walkthroughs on YouTube as well. And I gotta say, this was a really enjoyable experience. It will run you about a couple of hours or so, possibly 3 at the most, depending on your first time playing. It roughly took me about 3.5 hours to beat. And that was just me sort of just like messing around. Let's also talk about the boss battles. Oh, the music in this game is really good, and the boss battles definitely complement what is going on in here. The fighting is a little different than what you see. There actually takes place where if there's an encounter, and then you go into like this mini game session where you can actually perform different acts, and depending on what you choose, whether you choose to just be outright brutal or to hold back and see what will happen. It actually depends on the person that you're fighting and what exactly they're into. As far as like monsters, like sometimes it might be good to attack, sometimes it might just be good to hang back and just see what exactly happens. And that's really fascinating, especially when you start running into new monsters and you want to do like these different actions just to see how they would react to these certain things. That's fantastic. And it seems like every monster in here is unique to that certain degree where it just you want to see what's going to happen. And when it does happen, it can be very comedic, or it can be just plain weird. But either way, it works on both levels, and it's a really enjoyable experience. This is one of the first times I've ever had the pleasure of playing an indie game that felt like I really wanted to finish it. Like I didn't just. I have played things like, you know, Don't Starve and whatnot, and other indie games such as what's it called? Knockout? I think that was one of them. That was a lot of fun for a bit. And you know, it's like, okay, those games were fun, but I never felt like, you know, I needed to play a little bit more than an hour or less with those games, especially roguelike games. You know, games that where you get one life and you got to start all over fuck those games. I hate them. There's some really good ones out there. Like, I guess Binding of Isaac is pretty good. But it's like, oh, you're gonna have a bad time. And of course, people who play the game knows what I mean by that. But like I said, the music is just fantastic. Just listen to some of these clips here. Right? Isn't that fucking awesome? That 8-bit Super Nintendo Sega Genesis sound, and oh, I love it, man. Especially if you grew up in that era of that sort of the 8-bit, 16-bit wars, the wars between Sega Genesis and Nintendo, and it brings you back, man. Just hearing that music, and it's done so well. The music in this game is done so well. I want the soundtrack for this thing. Can you buy the soundtrack on Steam? I don't know. I gotta double check that. But well, besides that, you are introduced into a lot of characters, such as I said, like a comedic skeleton that loves bad puns, a psychotic flower that wants to kill you, and of course a couple of characters that will make you question your own sexuality. I'm not going to lie. This is actually one of the only times where I find myself attracted to a spider and a goat monster woman. Don't judge me. Don't you dare freaking judge me. The internet is judging me enough. The internet is judging me enough with this goddamn fan art. I mean, just look at this. Oh my god. Oh, I need help. I need a drink. That didn't help at all. But overall, Undertale is a fantastic game that should really... I just hope people just really give it a chance, and I'm glad that it did so well, and I'm glad it still seems like it's doing well considering the amount of fan art that there still is of it. You know, whether it makes me question exactly what the hell I'm into. I mean, yeah, I know the characters are both female, but come on, man. I find a spider attractive. I just can't believe that. So you have good characters, interesting characters, fantastic music, by the way. What about the setting? Well, the setting is the underground, like I said before, but it actually feels unique. There's actually a level that's that has lava. There's actually a level that's, don't worry, you can't fall in it or anything like that, but it's how the world is presented, and it's presented in this 8-bit style, and it might seem small at first as you go through it, and you're saying that, wow, you know, I feel like I'm getting close to the end rather quickly, but then there's a part where you might want to backtrack a lot, and then you realize exactly how big this world is and how much work has been put into this game. And like I said, there's like a world of lava, there's a world where it actually snows in the underground. That makes no sense, but apparently that is snow because they're able to build snowmen. So I don't understand exactly how that works. Oh, and the snowman is alive, actually. I mean, why wouldn't he be? I don't know exactly how that worked in this underground setting, but it's kind of nice to see that these creatures have decided to build their own world down there, even though that they're forced to live down there against their will due to the barrier put up by the humans. And everything in this world consists of exactly how are they going to get out of their situations. Yes, the humans in the upper world have sort of moved on and have just kind of accepted the fact that, you know, these monsters are possibly down there, even if they even know or not. I would love to see, you know, it's funny, I would love to see either a sequel or a prequel to this game, and considering what the creator said, I doubt we're ever going to see one, and this is just going to be the only game of its kind, which I guess is okay, because there are some things that you just don't need a sequel or a prequel. You know, it might kind of ruin the original. Honestly, nothing can ruin the original, but it's just that this game can possibly benefit without it having something else attached onto it. Or maybe it can. I don't know. It depends on how much work they're willing to put in it and how much time they're willing to spend on the writing of the story. But as far as what we got here, and depending on, because it's a choice-based game, it's a morale-based game, so with that being said, you can get different outcomes. But there seems to be like there's definitely this one solid ending, and I would just love to see the reaction for what happens towards this ending, or maybe a prequel that shows how this war actually got started. That would be fantastic, going back and visiting the wars of this world, playing a character doing sort of the same thing. I don't know how that one will work. I can possibly see a sequel work into this better. I heard that there was like a fan game made of this, which was supposed to be like a sequel to it. I don't know how that one is, because I haven't played it. But, you know, if a fan can make a sequel to this, I'm sure the original creator can. And I would just love to see that. Because this world that you created, man, it's so good. It really gets you invested. These are some weird characters, some very oddities, but you enjoy them. There's a likability with each one of them. Whether it's a side character, whether it's a character with such a minor role that you're just going to shop at a shop with and you're just shooting the breeze with as you talk to them. It's very what's the word I'm looking for? You get very enveloped into it, and that's a good thing. So you got good characters, you have a very interesting plot here, which makes you want to know what else is going to happen. You have a great setting. The game for me works overall. If I had to rate this, and I normally don't rate these Is It Worth It videos, I just tell you whether is it worth it or not, and I already said it is, but if I had to rate it, this is possibly a 10 out of 10, or a 9 out of 10. That doesn't mean it's perfect, you know. Excuse me, it has its problems with all games, but it's definitely worth a play and worth a buy. Just to see what's going to happen next, and you really care about what's going to happen. Or maybe you don't and you just want to murder everybody. Either way, you will get an appropriate ending for each thing you do, which is just an amazing amount of detail. More detail than a lot of these AAA fucking games nowadays. It's so sad. Well, okay guys, that's it. I'm glad for you to click on this video, and there's something else I wanted to say about this before I go. I know there isn't going to be a sequel to this, but I would really like to see something else come out of Undertale. I would hate for it to just be like big this year and then just sort of fade away into memory. Or at least something to confirm what happens after a certain part of the game, which I'm really curious about. There are hints here and there, but there's nothing really concrete. At least for me. I want to know more, man. I want to know more. Okay, I guess that's just me, you know, that it's hard when a game actually lives up to its hype. That's just what it is, man. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Once again, I gave you a second salute, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Hey everyone, SoranotRoxas here, and I know what you're saying. How come this video just doesn't end? Yeah, this went on a lot longer than what I wanted it to be. This was only supposed to be a video under 15 minutes, and I managed to run it for like what seems to be almost a half an hour talking about this game. And that's what happens when you get something good, man. You just have to talk about it. So anyway, this last portion of the video is just to clarify a couple of things. One, there is a reason why I haven't released my top 10 best and worst movies list yet. I'm finally wrapping up on the last couple of movies, and I just have to see The Hateful Eight and Creed, and then I'm going to start making my list. So there are going to be movies that's going to be missed from the list, so I do apologize for that. Second thing, they released lists on the Oscars for what were the nominations. I was not too happy with some of the picks for Best Picture. I noticed Star Wars was not up there for the Best Picture pick, which is already going to make my top 10 list, Best Movies list. So a lot of the movies that you might see on the list will not be the ones that are up for nominations. Normally I try to get out this list beforehand, but January is such a busy month. Coming into the new year, it always is, and like I said, I have a job now. I've been having a job for a while now, so I haven't been able to make videos like I want to. You know, there's nothing you can do. I apologize for it. Okay, so besides that, so we got the Super Bowl coming up, and I will have a video out before the Super Bowl comes on next Sunday. So so it's going to be the same as last year. I'm going to release it around the same time, possibly February 5th. I think that's on a Friday. I have that day off, so I'm going to try to release the video then. So I'm going to be working on it this past week or so. I want to thank Novaphyer once again for allowing me to use some of his gameplay for my review video. Once again, his link to his channel is in the description box. Please go check him out, or even if you just want to watch the walkthrough for this, it's a really good walkthrough. He has some really good editing skills, and I enjoyed his videos. Okay, so yeah, once again, thank you guys for watching and staying all the way to the end of this video. Go play Undertale. It's really good. There was some more things I really wanted to say about it, but I can't think of them right now. Maybe there's something that I miss. Maybe somebody can clarify it for me. But for what it is, it's a really good game, and you guys should definitely go check it out. All right, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.